Hello, welcome to KN Learn. My name is Juan Sebastian Garcia, and we are on the GNS3 training. We're going to look at the GNS3 emulator. GNS3 is an emulator of networks that it was built as a graphical emulator for a network, and it emulates topologies, complex topologies from any vendor. We could use Cisco, Juniper, Linux, Checkpoint emulations that will let us have a full network connected, and we could configure this network exactly like in real life. So we could have PCs, switches, routers, firewalls, VPNs, and all the good stuff. So what is GNS3? It's made out of different huge group of developers. They got together and made the tool. It could run on VMware. It could run on a virtual machine or an EXX server. It could work on any PC as well. So this is the virtualization of emulator. Now, GNS3 has any router. In this case, we're going to use a 1700 router as an example to configure GNS3. We're going to run the installation, so let's go ahead and click on the GNS3 setup. Let's click on GNS3 setup, double click, yes. Now we have the setup for GNS3. Let's click next. I agree the license. Let's go next. It's going to install the basic packages, even though I want to install everything. Let's click on the NP cap and the vert viewer just to make sure we have all the tools. But it has a full bunch of tools. So let's click install. Now it's running the installation, so bear with me. It installs a Visual C++ component. This actually runs on any Windows machine. I tested it in Windows 10, Windows 7, old versions, so you could run it on any machine and it'll work. Now, we're installing version 2.1.11. You could just go to the website and download a new version. You'll have to register, but it'll let you download the latest version of GNS3. It's important to know that I don't need to have a full CCNA or Cisco lab anymore. I don't need to have a whole bunch of routers, switches, firewalls. We could do the same at home with just the emulator. Back in the days, we have to spend around $1,000, $3,000 to get all those pieces at home and make a CCIE lab and so on. Nowadays, it's just a virtual machine and emulators, and we're good. It's asking me for a Wireshark installation. I think I have Wireshark installed already. Say yes. So we keep on doing the installation. Normally we have Wireshark and the PCAP capturing data for troubleshooting. This also works with GNS3. GNS3 was developed by Linux communities. So I think that's very important to mention that you could reply to any directly to GNS3, or the big community always comes out with new patches and new fixes and actually new binary files. So the binary file, it's what emulates any device. So if we have a Cisco router, we have a binary file. If we have a checkpoint firewall, we have a binary file. If we have any device, it's just a binary file. Okay, so we're almost finished. It's gonna ask us for the PuTTY email. Just put any email. Continue. It's gonna install the MP cap, which is net nmap for gathering information. We're gonna look at other episodes how to do reconnaissance and also gathering data, and the WinP cap for capturing data. I already had it installed, so let's just click next. It's installing nmap. Okay, GNS3 emulates again any device. You have to find on internet the bin files. I'm going to give you a place to download files that I have, binary files that you could use, but you could easily find them online with a Google search. There's many guys out there that post new files often, the bin files for that. As you can see on the screen, I have an example of the 1700 router bin file, the 2600 bin file, the 7200 switch bin file, some of those components, VMware Workstation, and so on. But once we're finished, I don't want additional tools. Let's just hit finish and start GNS3. Now, pay very good attention right now because we're going to configure for the first time the GNS3 tool. So let's run it. First screen that we got, the setup wizard. We have it open, so let's just run. Actually, let's cancel. Very important. We don't need to run it right now. It's booting up. We cancel. So check this out. We have my PC is on green. That means it's connected to GNS3. Now, I don't have no devices installed. If I look at any appliances available, I have nothing. You could see that they're grayed out. They're grayed out. So if I try to add one, I just double click, hit next. It's going to tell me import. So let's click on import. Let's say yes. It's going to say I'm finding the file. Let's say create a new version. Let's create a new version. The version is 1700 router. Let's ready to install. That's what I want. Let's hit next. Will you want to install a 1700? Yes. It's going to read the bin file that I selected. Let's hit finish. And there you go. We have installed the 1700 router. Now I could drag it into the tool. So I could just drag it and I have a router right there so that I could plug in and start working on it. So let's just drag two routers. Let's also drag a few other devices. Some of them devices, they're grayed out. I cannot use them. So the Ethernet switch I could. There's other options by default. But again, you want to install a lot of devices with the bin files. So you could do that at home. So let's throw another Ethernet switch on this side. So we got two Ethernet switches and PCs. We got a DNS. I don't want to install a DNS. If you double click it, it's grayed out. It's not going to let you do it. So anyway, just showing you how the tool works, which pretty much you could do this at home. Just watch the video and do it on your computer at the same time. You'll be okay. So Windows machine, I don't have the bin file, but I could just get any machine running, as you can see. Any device, any router. And actually the list grows a lot. So that's the beauty of GNS3. It's really the greatest tool for engineers to learn something. Let's put a cloud in the middle just to make sure we have a cloud internet connectivity. Okay, so we got a cloud in the middle. We have two routers. We have two switches. It looks like I'm building an office network. Now, take a look. Be careful. I just want to set up a switch in the middle here. Let's put a PC on one side, a PC on the other side, and click on that connector in the corner. Right click it and hit the red. If you hit the red and then to the switch, you right click it. It's connecting the PC to the switch. Let's right click on the router. Let's right click on the switch, hit the red, and then now it's connecting the router to the switch. Right click on the switch and the router, and now we connected this router to the switch. Now, if it's green, it's connected. So right click it, it's not connected, so I need just to connect to the switch, and there you go. So we have all connections and on full network. Now, let's save this. Just put a name. I already put that name on it, so let's just override it. Okay, let's just already save it. So if we hit start, we have different devices. We could hit start or command. Now, let's close the connector loop. Now, everything's shut down, so let's hit play. That play start button is going to turn everything on. As you can see on the right, we have everything green on the side. That means everything's turned on, all the connections are up, and now I can connect to any device and start configuring the device. Even the PC as well. So now let's click on this command, on this option. Now check this out. It's going to open up a SolarWind console on this machine. But basically it's going to pop up all machines, all routers, all switches in my screen, in my console. Now keep in mind that a console is just when I connect to a device. I could connect either via local area network with SSH PuTTY, or I could just connect via console on a real device. Now it's the same stuff. If I enter a console connection, it's going to show me this. So I have a PC just for testing the emulation. There you go. We have the PC1. I have a router that is booting up. I have this Cisco router. If I do ifconfig, well, this is exactly not like Windows. If we do Linux command or Windows command like ipconfig, it's not going to run. This is a PC just to emulate certain things. So we have a help of commands and so on. But we'll go through that later. Now, look at the router. It's booting up just exactly the same as a regular router. So that's really important. The emulation lets you do a lot of things. Keep that in mind. So this is the introduction of GNS3. I hope this was informative to you, and I'll see you on the next episode.